And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Joshua Guerrero. I believe I got that last name right. Joshua G. Who asked the question, who won in a fight, Voldemort or Doctor Strange? Now, when you hear that, there's a pretty obvious answer to it. But let's be fair here and paint the scenario as well as give an idea of what these characters are actually capable of. Voldemort, or Tom Riddle as he hates to be called, was a young wizard back in, was it like 70 years before? No, it wasn't even 70 years. Voldemort's actually relatively young now that I think about it. A lot of people like to think he's a lot older than he looks, but he's not actually. Hold on, Voldemort, or he who will not be named. Let's see now, Voldemort. But anyway, he's considered to be one of the most famous dark wizards of all time. Again, real name Tom Riddle. One of the techniques he did basically to prolong his life was basically put fragments of his soul into items known as Horcruxes. So essentially, he can't ever really die. As long as those objects exist, you could theoretically destroy his real body, but never kill his soul. His soul would linger and eventually find a host body, like it did with Quirrell in the Sorcerer's Stone, or he reincarnates. His body somehow reforms a little bit in his younger form in this Chamber of Secrets, or he's just unable to die so long as those Horcruxes exist. Likewise, he was probably the only wizard at the time during the events of Harry Potter who could go toe-to-toe with Dumbledore. It's even stated by Dumbledore that Voldemort was probably stronger than him. He had just the physicality and the youth difference, because he, even, being an adult, he was still far younger than Dumbledore was. Dumbledore was like over 100 years old. I can't remember exactly how old he was. But that said, Dumbledore was probably the only wizard he ever legitimately feared who could probably beat him in a fight if it truly came down to it. When they went toe-to-toe in Order of the Phoenix, he did kind of come out on top over Dumbledore, but it wasn't one of those fights where they were truly trying to win, trying to beat the one. Well, Voldemort was, which is why he probably did come out on top of that. But Dumbledore was more trying to hold them off while the Order comes, or the Order of the Phoenix came, and enough high-ranking wizards would be enough that even he'd have to get the hell out of here. Personality-wise, his knowledge remained woefully incomplete. Voldemort does not value life and has no trouble to comprehend. He has no concept of love, loyalty, or innocence. He understands nothing of it. He's pretty much just a true and honest evil by nature. It kind of got a wizard. He has no concept for human animal life or whatever. He's highly intelligent. He thought everything in terms of power, basically, and was somewhat willfully ignorant of people or matters that considered to have no value. He was also dismissive of the unique magic of house elves due to their social stash, and therefore they could kind of, get underneath him. His need for independence that bordered on pathological. He preferred to operate in secrecy and solitude. Despite his independent streak, it's not to say Voldemort would completely reject all assistance, if only he was forced to in desperate measures. Voldemort had very little attachment to anything that did not amplify his fame or existence. He viewed his followers as nothing more than disposable pawns. Despite doting on purebloods, he was willing to execute any of them. Even his wand, which served him powerfully and faithfully for nearly 6 decades, was disposed when he discovered the even more powerful Elder Wand. He just does not give two craps about anyone but himself. He did not believe anyone but himself, nor in anyone but himself, nor did he value his fellow human beings except to the extent they were useful to him. The fact that Voldemort was conceived through coerced love, theorized by a love potion by Dumbledore or Imperious Curse, administered/used by a witch Merope Gaunt to Muggle Tom Riddle, was related to his inability to understand love. Interesting, I actually didn't know about that. As a child, he was considered intelligent, polite, but he also, possibly very, creepy. And his arrogance, inevitably, he was extremely arrogant. That was the thing. He believed no one was better than him. The only one he kind of feared was Dumbledore. And he was extremely obsessive with his nature. His main obsessions were immortality, pure blood supremacy, and the attempt on Harry Potter's life and the search for the Elder Wand. That was it. Fear. A few ever saw anything troubling about young Tom Riddle, but Albus observed psychological issues and potential dark implications. Gradually taking more and more eliminating rivals, more power eliminating rivals. Despite his narcissistic nature, he could acknowledge his mistakes as shown. He accepted the fact that the destruction of his body was more his fault than Harry's, even going so far as to openly admit this to Death Eaters. However, Voldemort was capable of admitting his mistakes. Oh no, though he was, Harry asserted that he didn't learn from them. When he was angry, Voldemort was unpredictable. He was capable of being cold and calm, but also explode with a rage, as it were. He did rescue Bellatrix's friend from duel with Albus Dumbledore. Apparently, Bellatrix herself was obsessively in love with him. Incidentally, it somewhat mirrored the fascination Voldemort and his mother had with his father, but he never returned romantic feelings due to his lack of understanding and desire for love. Despite having engaged in purely physical relationship with Bellatrix. Okay, well, there was that. One flaw Voldemort did not possess is, one flaw that he did not possess despite his egomania was thinking himself infallible. He acknowledged his mistakes on several occasions with the candor and charm that he won over his followers in the first place. He sought to make hay of his missteps. Basically, he was actually someone who could acknowledge his faults, which is actually very important for character development and learning experiences, but he couldn't learn from them. His first downfall was brought about his greatest flaw, describing that which he could not understand. He did not realize that trying to cast a killing curse on a victim after killing a protector who had voluntarily sacrificed themselves would result in a curse rebounding off due to magic of love. Voldemort's talents for sowing discord. He was very manipulative. Deep under his terrifying demeanor, Voldemort was very much capable of fear whenever he did not feel that things were completely in his control. He would also very much fear death because he struggled to, stave it off. He refused assistance from his followers due to his desire to kill Harry. Voldemort was capable of suppressing and concealing his fears and confronting the things that threatened him. When he entered Morfingaunt's home as a teenager and confronted his deranged uncle, even Harry could not help but admire Riddle's complete lack of fear, witnessing the events of Dumbledore's pensive. He was also a liar and a hypocrite. There's a lot. I'm on the wiki right now, so there's God knows how much here. Anyway, so going on to his actual, Voldemort was one of the most powerful wizards of his time, and in probably a lot of Harry Potter lore. As an adult, he was a tremendously powerful, accomplished wizard and almost unrivaled. Magical mastery. Voldemort was one of the individuals who didn't actually need a wand to use magic. Obviously, like most wizards and witches in the Harry Potter world, his wand was very useful to him, but he didn't need it. Obviously, his most powerful spells were... Excuse me, I got a bit of a cold at the moment, and it feels like there's something, like a little fragment of food that keeps scraping in the back of my throat, and it's really irritating. He was capable of many magical feats, including doing that giant fire snake he did against Dumbledore. He didn't even use a wand for that. Dark arts, extremely powerful, accomplished, including using the unforgivable curses. He knows all three of them. The Cruciatus curse, which I believe was the torture curse. Imperius, which was the mental curse. And then obviously the killing curse, Avada Kedavra. Also, he was able to placed a jinx on the position. That's funny. Capable of developing extremely powerful dark spells, hexes, charms, jinxes, and curses. He placed a jinx on the position of defense against our dark arts teacher after being refused the post by Dumbledore. That would have caused something terrible to happen to whoever held the post. Hence why no one has effectively ever held that post. Okay, I'll admit, I didn't know that. I never actually got past the 5th book. I know everything that happens, but I never actually got past the 5th book. Obviously, he had the 7 Horcruxes. By the time you get to him in Order of Phoenix, the Cursed Child, or the Half-Blood Prince, and the Deathly Hallows, he only had... We'll probably use him in the Deathly Hallows in iteration of him. He only had, I think, like 3 left. He had the locket. He had Nagiri, the snake. There was like, sorry, smacking my lips. There was Nagiri, the snake, the locket. I think that was actually it, wasn't it? Those were like the only two ones left. Pretty sure. Anyway, he was a skilled duelist. Potions, he was highly knowledgeable in. Not that it matters. Charms, extremely skilled in charms. An elemental magic mastery. During his battle, Department of Mysteries, he burned Neville with a flick of his wand when he defined him. He unleashed a maelstrom of colossal firestorms on Harry. Obviously, he did the giant, enormous flame serpent against Dumbledore. Memory modification, apparition, control of underage magic. What the hell is underage magic? Even being told that he was a wizard or having any knowledge of magic wizard at all, young Voldemort displayed an extreme degree over his control of underage magic, where he used it to torment many of the other children in the orphanage he was raised in. Okay. Occlumentus, or basically like mind manipulation. Delving into some person's mind. Flying. Parcel tongue, being able to speak to snakes. Horcrux. Again, his Horcruxes were School Diary, which was destroyed. The Gaunt or Family Ring, which I believe was destroyed by the curse. He destroyed it, but Dumbledore got cursed by it. Rona Ravenclaw's Diamondin. Helga Hufflepuff Cup. Salazar Slytherin's Locket. Nagiri. And Harry Potter himself. That's right, Harry Potter was also one. As long as these Horcruxes were active, Voldemort was immortal and unkillable, even by magic as powerful as the Killing Curse. Transfiguration, defense against the dark arts, infiltration and control is the only wizard mentioned to have the ability to create and control Inferi and an army of that. Though it's implied dark wizard. What the hell is Inferi? I'll figure that. Power of possession. In a spectral form, he could possess things. Hence why wandless magic, wand versatility. Charisma, acting, leadership skills, sales, interesting. Physical aptitude, was an excellent physical condition. Teaching skill. Basically, he's one of the toughest Harry Potter characters ever. What the hell is an Inferi? Again, I'm not as big on Harry Potter lore as others. Oh, those weird zombie things. They are similar, but intrinsically distinct from a zombie, created through a magic branch of the dark arts. Anyway, I digress. So that's Voldemort. Voldemort's biggest weaknesses of Voldemort is hubris. The fact that while he can use wandless magic, he also needs he also still needs a wand for his most effective spells, so forth and so on. Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, I've had on this channel before, so I can go real quick on this. Sorcerer Supreme, probably one of the best magic users in the Marvel Universe, does not need a wand to cast his spells. He's a skilled martial artist. Anything you can think of, he can probably do with enough time and patience. At the height of his power, he's capable of basically reshaping reality in some ways, if you really wanted to. That's all you really need to know. So who wins in this fight? Let's assume, traveling through some multiverses, Doctor Strange winds up in the Harry Potter world. During maybe the assault on Hogwarts, he shows up wondering what the hell's going on. He maybe even talks to one of the McGonagall. Shows like, sorry, man, but what's going on? It's like, who are you? It's like, Stephen Strange, Sorcerer Supreme of the blah blah blah. And it's like, well, we could use a sorcerer. Well, we could use some help. Like, yeah, I can see that. And then he just does a spell, and just all of Voldemort's army just kind of freezes. Like, what is this? It's like a freezing curse. They'll be fine until I snap it. I was like, Voldemort's like, who are you? It's like, Doctor's like, how many times? I'm Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. Now I'm just wondering what's going on here. And Voldemort's like, you're in my way, Avada Kedavra! And then Doctor Strange just blocks it with a spell, and Voldemort's just shocked that he easily blocked the Killing Curse with what appears to be a simple. So I was like, yeah, I don't know what that was, and Doctor Strange can sense magic, so he can sense that would have taken him out. If you had hit him, that would have taken him out. I was like, okay, buddy, let's see what we got here. And it's like, we don't want to fight. It's like, you've got it. And then he just starts throwing spells at Doctor Strange. Here is the immediate problem with anything Voldemort could try to throw at Doctor Strange. And it is literally saying, anything you can do, I can do better. that there is nothing that Doctor Strange can't do, or excuse me, that Voldemort can do that Doctor Strange can't do. Doctor Strange can literally do everything that Voldemort can, and then some, and to a higher degree of playing. And just because he's a great duelist doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything against someone who doesn't even need a wand to fight him. Doctor Strange doesn't need a wand. Voldemort can use wandless magic and use it quite effectively in certain cases, but he doesn't. Compared to what he is with a wand, it's nothing compared to what he is. Excuse me. Compared to what he is without a wand, isn't anything compared to what he is with a wand. And Doctor Strange is just Doctor Strange. Physically speaking, he's also just a superior fighter. If it got close range, he'd own Voldemort in a straight-on fist fight. So, and it's not gonna. So, nothing that that Voldemort throws at Doctor Strange is really gonna stop it. At any point, at any rate, he'll probably just get rid of the wand. Voldemort will try to throw some spells at him, and Doctor Strange will just eventually have to put him down. But here's the question: because Voldemort has technically immortality on his side, can Doctor Strange circumvent that, overcome that? I'm gonna say yes, and here's why. Doctor Strange has periodically gone up against people who could bitch slap Voldemort. Immortal beings, eternal beings. And he has, on some levels, either defeated them, sealed them away, or killed them. And figured out ways to kill them. Yeah, sure. Because the Horcruxes are there, his soul is, can't really die. He can't die at all. But Doctor Strange is more than capable of seeing spirits, and I'm sure if he just wasted Voldemort's body, and Voldemort maybe tried to possess Doctor Strange's spirit. First of all, Doctor Strange is actually I think thousands of years old due to time shenanigans. So trying to possess him with the amount of knowledge, experience, and training he's had is a bad move on Voldemort's part. But even so, Doctor Strange could easily perceive Voldemort and just trap him or seal him in something, and there you go. The truth of the matter is, unless Voldemort got a lucky shot off with Avada Kedavra, there is no way he stands a ghost of a chance in beating Doctor Strange. There's just not. Physically, Doctor Strange could beat him in just a straight fight. And any magic that Voldemort can do, Doctor Strange can just do more easily and stronger versions of it. So, ultimately, I gotta go Doctor Strange. Again, though, if Doctor Strange got taken off guard briefly, because Voldemort, here's the thing, Voldemort loses the vast majority, but he would still be able to put up a fight, I think. Because a lot of the spells we see are still powerful. It's just Doctor Strange has beaten beings or gone toe-to-toe with beings that dwarf Voldemort in capabilities and power. So, ultimately, yeah, it's got to be Doctor Strange. I will go 95%. I do think there is that weird scenario where where Voldemort might be able to do like a transfiguration curse on a transfiguration. Maybe use one of the unforgiving curses or unforgivable curses, which might not much. I don't think it's the Imperious one that takes control. I don't think that one will work on Doctor Strange. Anyone with strong enough will can resist that one. And Doctor Strange could resist that, no problem. The torture curse would slow him down, but because of the pain he's endured with his hands and a lot of torture through the ages, he's gone. Hello? Hello? Sorry, I'm doing a bit. I'm just finishing up a video. So yeah, 95% for Doctor Strange, 5% for Voldemort. That's my thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Later.